Welcome to Action Theater Presents 1981 For Your Eyes Only, a James Bond film in the James Bond universe. With me is Deleted Scenes, and at the last minute, StreamYards decided to be able to work to let me in and do my broadcast. Maybe they heard my cry of anger and resentment. Maybe it worked. I don't know. But anyway, we're live. We're gonna present to you Action Theater presents For Your Eyes Only. How you doing, Deleted Scenes trusty sidekick?
Oh, fair to partly cloudy. Just got home not too long ago. I've been trying to keep up to date on the situation here with StreamYard. Apparently, several channels have had issues. I'm waiting to hear back from some people to see what's going on. Luckily, Bill is back up and running, so we can bring you today's program, which is, as we stated, For Your Eyes Only, the James Bond film starring Roger Moore from 1981, which, of course, the famous title song from Sheena Easton.
Yep.
We also have Rocky composer Bill Conti with the music. And, of course, we have multiple Bond film director John Glenn at the helm for this one. Let me see. The synopsis on IMDb Pro reads as follows. Secret Service agent James Bond is assigned to find a missing British vessel equipped with a weapons encryption device to prevent it from falling into enemy hands. So yeah, we let's see. Other actors that we have here. Julian Glover, who of course you might remember was the villain in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and was also in Game of Thrones. We have Topol from Fiddler on the Roof and Flash Gordon. The Bond girls this time around, we have Carol Bouquet, who's kind of the main Bond girl. We also have Lynn Holly Johnson, who was an ice skater before she became an actress. And she was in a film called, what was it, Ice Castles that she was in? Was that the name of it? It's kind of around the same time.
I don't know.
She plays like this, plays an ice skater that goes blind and still continues to skate. It's actually not a bad film for what it is. So yeah, so there are some familiar faces in this one. So I think you're going to enjoy it. This was like one of the first, if not the first James Bond film I saw. I may have seen Moonraker in theaters, as I brought up in the previous show, but I don't remember. I do remember seeing this one in theaters, folks. So yeah, this is the first Bond film that I remember really being familiar with, where I could kind of put names to faces. But yeah, so luckily we are back up and running. Let us know in the chat if you're having any audio problems, any visual problems. Let us know so we can get on it right away, and we won't interrupt the program. As you see, Bell does have the screening room for Cosme up on the screen right now. That should be in both chats. It is. I do have my I do have that up and running in my chat as well. Now, I do want to remind everybody once again that this is a commentary-only episode. The Bond films are not public domain.
Yep.
We don't want the Broccoli's or Michael Wilson or Ian Fleming's estate or anybody to show up and sue us. um, we also have to adhere to YouTube guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
It's not our call, folks, but so this is kind of the way we're going to have to do it until such time as these movies either become public domain or YouTube lightens up on things a little bit. So don't get upset, please. We understand. People being upset that we can't actually show the film. We get it.
Yeah.
We get it, guys.
We're here in the States, so
yeah.
Like other countries can get away with putting up movies and copyrighted material, but we're here in the States, so we really can't get away with very much. So, unfortunately,
so
until we don't want our channels 86 and gone over a moment. So,
but in the meantime, listen to our commentary. And think of it this way. Think of it as you are watching a live fan commentary track.
Yeah.
Now, of course, these films are available on Amazon because Amazon now owns the rights to the Bond films, Amazon and MGM. And I do understand some of them are on Fandango at home as well. So that is a way. And of course, you can follow along with your own physical copy. Should you have one, there's that Bond 50th anniversary box set that has all of the films in them.
Physical media is always the best and true way to view or see something, but
absolutely. Sadly, I do not have this particular film, but I am going to be following along with everyone else on Cosme, and maybe I should go to the Cosme room. All right. And I do want to really quickly say hello to some people who've joined us here in the chat. We have Daniel's Hot Topics, which is a lot of fun because Daniel knows a lot about these films, guys. So this is Jaws was going to make a cameo appearance in this movie, but for some reason it didn't happen. Yeah, there's been some speculation that maybe Richard Kiel wanted more money than they were willing to pay him. I've also heard that it was kind of like a timing issue and that there was a scene written but wasn't filmed for whatever reason. So it kind of depends. And maybe when we get to the trivia section, maybe they'll clear that up. I do also want to say hello to Daniel Barry's Sports Highlights, who has also joined us in the chat, and channel member Lester Skeptic Tank Obsessions.
Yeah.
He says, I'll see if listening to a movie is as riveting as watching it. Well, we'll make it. We'll try to make it entertaining for you here, right. Lester.
Yeah.
And all right. Without further ado, I guess we're going to get right down to it. Rated PG from 1981 for your eyes only. Runtime is 2 hours and 7 minutes. So buckle up.
Okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, go.
All right. Of course, the MGM logo, MGM UA, of course, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer and United Artists. And, of course, the Bond theme. Iris out. Kablam. Roger Moore's Bond. And for those of you who are interested in kind of in Bond continuity, this, of course, is referencing Fiora on Her Majesty's Secret Service, where Bond actually marries during the course of the film, and sadly, his wife is killed by Blofeld. At that point, played by Telly Savalas. Yeah, I remember when I saw this movie the first time, I had to ask who it was who had passed, and having my mom explain to me this backstory, because I hadn't seen on Her Majesty's Secret Service at that point. Connie Cleary has joined us in the chat. Hello, Connie. Channel member, Faithful Blue Wrench, Birdwoman of YouTube. Watch out for her channel, Fluff Chick Productions. You haven't missed anything. We're just a couple of minutes in. And of course, it's very heavily suggested here that this character is also Blofeld.
Yeah.
And you're going to see here in a few minutes why I take issue with that.
Well, I'm already in some trouble.
Yeah. This one thing that this movie does is it drops Bond into action
Yeah.
pretty quickly.
It's the pace running right out of the gate.
Yeah. This movie does not waste a lot of time.
No, it does not. Roger Moore was my first introduction to James Bond movies.
Mhm.
I later then started watching the Sean Connery Bond films. So, needless to say, that Roger Moore was my first and one that I probably liked the most. But then, after the years progressed, I liked Sean Connery's Bond just as much.
If Clifford's car is still around. I don't know. Probably not. It's
And
been a
you
while.
guys should have a volume control that you move to the left or to the right to, increase or decrease your volume. Should be the lower left hand corner to adjust that. Right? A private fright. I love this part. Bond just took control of the helicopter. Smart cat, run away, run away. I'll buy you a what? What did
Delicatessen.
he offer as a prize? I don't think he'll be back. Can everybody hear the film?
Yep,
Okay, just checking.
you are echoing now.
Really, Daniel? You didn't like the theme song? Man, I like the theme song to this one.
Yeah. That surprises me. Yeah,
It was a hit
this was
song too. Got a lot of radio play back in the '80s. You would often hear this, and the film's been out for years, and you would still hear it played on the radio.
hello to Usarn G. Says I only have one device charged right now, so I can't watch the movie. Wanted to say hi and give a thumbs up. Thank you. Please give a thumbs up on both channels we are simulcasting.
Yeah, welcome, Arnsarn G. Good to see you.
Daniel's Hot Topic is asking, do you think that was the last Blofeld, or could there be more clones out there? I refuse to consider the character that just admitted us to be Blofeld. I am not convinced to this day, because he was such a foil for Bond for so long. To basically have him get taken out like an extra like that, I don't believe that's Blofeld. I refuse. And I don't know if this is true, and maybe Daniel can check me on this in the chat. I think that is the first time that the singer of the theme song is actually in the credits themselves. That's the first time I remember. I might be mistaken, and maybe it happens again after that. That's the only time I remember.
Here we have British, I think what British intelligence and on the British naval.
I told Mistretta to talk to Galana. Oh, wait. Wrong movie. I'm hacking into ATAC, Linda. And of course, this is the machine that the villains are going to be after throughout the film. This movie's basically a very complicated, very complicated game of keep away.
Yeah, and it's a Cold War era film.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. The Cold War was very much, it was alive and kicking. You know,
Oh,
the whole world's still under the threat of a nuclear war three.
and of course, he can't deactivate it.
Where you have the Kremlin.
Mm-hmm. And of course, Walter Gotell returning.
And here we are, whisked away to Greece.
And Carol Bouquet, of course.
They're landing on the water to get on a yacht. Down you go, says the bird.
The parrot that becomes a bit of the comic relief of the film.
Yeah, it does. Welcome, any of you, those who you may be listening on X. We know you're there, but you don't have to engage. We're just happy that you can at least be there. We appreciate you. Yeah, they're coming to shoot. Are those friends or forgot? Were they your friends or our parents?
I think they were friends of some sort. Yeah, I don't recall. Either way,
Yeah,
not good. Money
it
Penny.
definitely got her motivated and upset.
And of
Mona
course,
Penny.
the running gag with the hat. Mm, known as Stinky to his friends. So,
Yeah, they were her
oh, okay.
parents.
Who are our parents? Okay, yeah, my bad. Roll credits. They said the thing. Daniel with the spin some knowledge here. Yeah, I was thinking Blofeld died in Diamonds Are Forever. Loved that actor who portrayed him in that movie. Says, then when I saw Blofeld in For Your Eyes Only and remember Ed cast on, could he have been the last Blofeld to be shown in Diamonds Are Forever, the one in the Yellow Sub, Connery Bond? Banged up. Remember that. Hmm. It's the Kremlin and the Evil General. Yeah. It's also, do you think the Bond movies from Sean Connery, Roger Moore, and Timothy Dalton share the same continuity? I'd like to think that the Brosnan movies share the same continuity as well. Uh, but someone once said all the Bonds are like reboots of each other, like a parallel universe. Um, well, if you want to go down the rabbit hole of continuity, as far as I'm concerned, the Daniel Craig films are their own continuity. Um, if you want to say that Connery, Moore, and Dalton share continuity, um, there are definitely some clues that say they might. I think it kind of depends on who you ask, really.
I think more or less that the bond is more or less a call sign for the agent, and each bond plays it to their strength and has their own style with strong similarities to another. You know,
Yeah.
hey, hello to Kronos. Hail Kronos. Let's hoping for songs, not pod.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be Saturday night, Kronos. Kronos says nice legs and ZZ Top. Can't stay, needed to say yeah. Okay, Kronos. You take care, brother. We'll see you. Maybe we'll see you on Saturday night for some karaoke. Later, Tater.
Take care, Kronos.
a strong little car. Whoa! I didn't get notes. I've got a hubcap.
online with you here. Go to Lester. Cosmia is loading. Jack, until now. Oh, well. FKHC 2005 has also joined us. We now return to our Eagles Dare, already in progress. It's a cold day for pontooning. This sequel to Avalanche is weird, yes. And of course, Lynn Holly Johnson. And Julian Glover.
He was the protagonist in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Mm-hmm.
And a continuing pain in the ass of the Game of Thrones series. I wouldn't recommend it. FKHG 2005. Never eat or drink the yellow snow. Never drink. Stay away. Stay away. Danger. Danger. Never eat or drink the yellow snow.
Yes, and he was General Veers, yes.
That's right. He was in Star Wars too. Oh, he's been in pretty much a lot of stuff.
Right. Of course, we just had the assassin on the motorcycle. Where there's still internal injuries and such.
Yeah, she's not going to do what you say, James. She's she's got one thing in her heart and eye, and that's revenge, revenge, revenge. She's basically driven to do anything at all costs.
And thank you, Tim, for the $1 super chat. And welcome back to No Peripheral Vision Theater. Hi.
She's a very precocious young girl.
What would in today's parlance be referred to as a thirsty kitty? Yes.
Yeah. Nah, I think she's a 19-year-old in the story, but yeah, James is always going to persuade in the side of caution. Good one, Tim. He's going, who is this young American girl?
Hello in the chat to Suzanne Eckstein. And to answer your question and Cosme, I'm going to go with no. Daniel's hot topic since the Bond guy is the enforcer for this movie. Every Bond movie has one. Where do you rank this enforcer on? I jumped on. Uh, how do you rate this enforcer compared to the others? Ah. I had personally forgotten about him, so take that as you will. Blonde guy is not as tough as Jaws. Odd job are those guys. Cut the blonde guy in half. Yeah, yeah. I that those are kind of the guys I tend to go to in my mind. Daniel or Jaws, Odd Job, those guys.
I love those quirky sound effects. Our current timestamp is 54 minutes, 47 seconds.
Ow! That didn't hurt.
Yes, at the time of this film, there was an East and West Germany. This is, like I said, this is Cold War era. When this film came out, there was still an East, West, and East Germany. and the wall. The wall hadn't came down yet. This is completely deliberate attack on James Bond. Get on that Zamboni, Bond. Get on that Zamboni. Clean that ice. I like how somebody's keeping score on the scoreboard. What we have here is a dead man. One of those jerseys was Montreal Canadiens, eh? James. Deleted scenes will be back shortly. Howdy, Big Al presents. Tomorrow on Big Al presents, we got Friday the 13th, the final chapter with Corey Feldman. She may be a cougar. Well, I can see they've made themselves comfortable. Do you know the Beatles? Good, baby. Good. Welcome back, Mr. Bond.
Yes. Hello to Big Up Presents. Bill and I will be joining Al tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern for Films with Friends, Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
Oh no! Oh, he hit her. Now you gone and done it. You pissed him off. Goodbye, Countess. The Order of the White Dove. Dove or white bird. I don't know if it's dove. Maybe it's a pigeon. The Order of the White Pigeon.
Of course, Topol is Columbo. Oh!
You all right?
No, I was just thinking they gave a peace prize to Yasser Arafat, so.
Yeah. I never drink wine.
Yeah. Crunch. This Deep Star 6 prequel is weird.
I've never seen a giant roll of paper crush a guy. Please do not shoot at the World War II water bombs. We may all go sky high. Grenade!
Oh,
Yeah. Oh my God. Blew him up, blew him right to hell.
now I would have to say, Daniel, going back to your previous question, I would say Locke here is really more the enforcer than Krieger. Happy landings, asshole.
Bye-bye.
There was no kaboom. There was supposed to be a car detonating kaboom. This makes me very angry.
Is this some ancient city underwater?
Friend in this house. Uh-oh. Is that just me, Bill?
Oh, oh yeah. Hang on.
All right.
I don't know
All right,
what happened.
give us a minute to get the film back on here. That will well give me a chance to do a little bit of housekeeping. Remind everybody that Bill and I are going to be joining Big Al Presents tomorrow night at 8 p.m. for Films with Friends. And tomorrow night's film will be Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
Should be back now.
Timestamp 1 hour, 23 minutes, 57 seconds. They're watching For Your Eyes Only from 1981, Roger Moore's James Bond. Welcome to the chat, Orville Nation
Hello, Brown Nation.
and Action Popcast.
So they are in a submersible. It's not too deep, slightly bigger submersible. That's right. He did say blow. Funny Tim. Oh, there goes a bull shark. No, but it's very similar to the Titan sub. Very similar looking indeed.
And now, Mr. Bond, you have learned that there's nothing that you can that can't take away. Oh wait, shit. Wait, we may have the wrong movie. Are you Bellog? Oh,
Yeah.
no, he's Donovan, motherfucker. All right.
Yeah. Oh, we're still on for your eyes only. Way to go, bird. Ready to sail. Ready to sail. Don't eat me. Don't eat me. He's a German robot.
Wow.
One thing. Can I get the sharks with freaking laser beams on the head? Sharks with freaking laser beams. How long can you hold your breath? That's a tiger shark. Ouch, ouch, ouch! Squirrel.
Whoops.
Oh, run them down. Follow me. and mesh that. Give us a kiss. Give us a kiss.
Told you that bird was awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
The guy on a donkey is just a guy on a donkey. Man, you should have brought that quarterback fellow. Roger Moore was originally going to be in Cliffhanger. I don't know if you know that.
No.
Um, kidding. We won't put a scratch on it. Stinky, Pony Pa, Cliff. Bird.
Damn birds. Oh shit.
That didn't hurt. Got ourselves some tenacious villains in this one, don't we? Elm Scream. What do you think happens to each Bond girl they're never shown again? Well, I know. I'm actually reading The Man with the Golden Gun right now, Daniel. And I know that in that book, Honeychild Ryder gets referenced, who is Ursula Anderson, Dr. No. And it's explained that she actually eventually got married and had a couple of kids. As for the rest of them, I don't know. I was kid always thought that Bond would some do a safe house and collect them. Yeah. Or give him a clue, yeah. Is this ain't what you want? You're too old for me? Yes, she did. Stood up for herself. That guy got the point. Yeah, indeed he did. White-eyed Turner. Yeah. Pretty much.
Eric. Dog a cross, dog a pound. How dare he? Nobody insults Mickey Mouse.
Just
Many
make my package and go.
Oh, bye, Gunter.
Should have packed his parachute.
Mm.
Eastern judge gives him a 5. Yeah. Whoops. Okay.
It is kaput. The typewriter is kaput.
Don't have it. I don't have it. Yeah, but he's holding stuff. Meanwhile, she said the thing. Max!
She's supposed to be Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That
Give us a kiss. Give us a kiss. Give us a kiss.
toodles.
Uh, good one, Tim.
Oh, that was Charles Dance. Holy shit. Okay. That's what I thought. All right. Well, that. All right. So there were two Game of Thrones people in this movie. All
It
right.
was for your eyes only.
All right. Shall I consult the scrolls?
You shall consult the scrolls now.
And of course, by scrolls, I mean IMDb Pro. For Your Eyes Only was released June 26th, 1981, at an estimated budget of $28 million, going on to gross $55 million worldwide. Was nominated for Best Original Song at the Academy Awards and the Golden Globes. Was nominated as Best Comedy at the Writers Guild of America. Uh, Nominated for a Best Classic DVD release as part of the James Bond DVD collection, Volumes 2 and 3 in 2004. Roger Moore was nominated for Best International Actor at the Jupiter Awards. In 1991, Bill Conti won the ASCAP, the ASCAP Film and Television Music Awards for Most Performed Feature Film Standards for this one for Your Eyes Only. Let's see. Won the Golden Screen Award in Germany in 1982. Was nominated for 3 Jupiter Awards. Best International Film, Best International Actress for Carol Bouquet, and Best Best International Actor for Roger Moore. And I'm going to read it because it's here, but I call BS. The 1981 The Stinkers Bad Movie Awards nominated Lynn Holly Johnson for Worst Supporting Actress. Oh, screw you. She was cute. Go F yourselves. All right, moving on. Filming locations. Many. I'll narrow them down. Okay. Let's see. It's pretty much all location shooting. Greece, the Bahamas, London, England, Italy, All right. So we're going to move on to the trivia. There are 160 items. I will narrow this down because we do not have online. Okay. All right. This was the first Bond movie to be based on one of Ian Fleming's short stories instead of one of his novels. Interestingly, there are several scenes in this movie lifted from other Fleming tales. Examples: the assault on the smuggler's boat and warehouse was lifted intact from his short story called Risico. And the sequence featuring Bond and Melina being dragged through the coral was lifted from the climax of the book Live and Let Die. The identigraph appeared in a slightly different form in the book Goldfinger. The title song is the first in the James Bond film franchise in which we see the person who is singing, in this case, Sheena Easton. The song was a top 10 hit on both the UK charts, number 8, and US charts, number 4, as of July 25th, 1981. Received an Academy Award nomination for Best Song and was featured in a song and dance number at the Oscars March 29th, 1982. It featured dancers dressed as villains and henchmen such as Dr. No and Ernst Stavro Blofeld, as well as the real Harold Cicada and the real Richard Keel, reprising their roles as Oddjob and Jaws, respectively. A dancer played James Bond, and at the end of the sequence, he took off in a rocket with Sheena Easton, who had been singing the title song live. This was just one of a medley of 5 song and dance numbers for each Best Song nominee on the night. It also acted as a preamble to the presentation by Sir Roger Moore of the Irving Thalberg Honorary Award to Albert R. Broccoli in honor of the James Bond film franchise. Starting with this movie and the rise of the MTV generation, all Bond movies have had music video tie-ins. The voice of the man in the wheelchair, unofficially Ernst Stavro Blofeld, which I call BS. That is not Blofeld. That is an imposter. And one of the movie's trailers is different to the voice of the character in the actual movie. Carol Bouquet had visited the set of Moonraker, as she is French, and interiors and some exteriors of that movie were filmed in Paris, France. She was remembered when it came to casting this movie. 2 actors in this movie have appeared in James Bond spoof Casino Royale. John Hollis, who's the unofficial Blofeld, who played a monk, and John Wells plays Dennis Thatcher, was Q's assistant Fortis. The name of the underwater apparatus with a man inside that confronts James and Melina while they are in the sunken fishing trawler St. George's is called a JIM suit, named after its creator, Jim Jarrett. All right. For Your Eyes Only was the first collection of Ian Fleming James Bond short stories and was first published April 11th, 1960. The collection was subtitled 5 Secret Occasions in the Life of James Bond, and was the 8th James Bond book, and included the short stories The Hildebrand Rarity, Quantum of Solace, From a View to a Kill, Risico, and For Your Eyes Only. These stories were originally conceived in the 1950s as scripts for a never-produced James Bond television series. The last 2 of these provided material for this movie, along with some story elements from the novels Goldfinger and Live and Let Die. Fleming's working title for the For Your Eyes Only story was Man's Work, while its title, when it was written as a television episode for CBS, was Rough Justice, then as Death Leaves an Echo. When shooting the still for the movie's main poster, photographer Morgan Kane allegedly asked his model to put the swimsuit on backwards, as it hung too low over her legs. After the poster had been released, some newspaper editors felt there was too much buttocks shown in the trailer, as shown in the poster. To show less skin, the swimsuit was extended or shorts were added to the hips on the posters. The original poster caused outrage among various groups, causing Saskatchewan to rate this movie a special X, despite being rated PG or equivalent virtually everywhere else. That rating was later lowered. Apparently, the model's identity was not known for some time. More than one model alleged that she was the owner of the legs, but it was finally revealed they belonged to 22-year-old New York City model Joyce Bartle. It was during this production that Cassandra Harris introduced her husband, Pierce Brosnan, to producer Albert R. Broccoli. The literal translations for some of this movie's foreign language titles include Only for Your Eyes in France, Italy, and Spain, On a Deadly Mission in Germany, Agent 007 Strict Confidence in Denmark, From a Lethal Viewpoint, Sweden, Top Secret, Finland, 007 For Your Eyes Only, Brazil, Only Strictly for Your Eyes, Norway, and 007 Only for Your Eyes in Portugal. Michael G. Wilson has a cameo in this film as a Greek priest at a village wedding in Corfu. Sir Timothy Havelock was inspired by oceanographer Jacques-Yves Cousteau. He was once personally acquainted with Ian Fleming. Last Eon Productions James Bond movie solely released by United Artists. They merged with MGM before the release of the next Bond movie, Octopussy. Wide public interest in the 1980 Lake Placid USA Winter Olympics was the inspiration for the production to use a Winter Olympics location and to include story action within its associated activities. This movie used the Italian Alps location of Cortina d'Ampezzo, which I probably pronounced wrong, which had hosted the 1956 Winter Olympics. As such, there are sequences set at Cortina d'Ampezzo's Winter Olympic venues. Winter activities featured in this movie include the biathlon, ski jump, ice hockey, downhill skiing, ice skating, cross-country skiing, and bobsled toboggan run. Lynn Holly Johnson was a professional ice skater, noticed by producer Albert R. Broccoli for her turn at acting in ice castles. Her character in this movie was an aspiring Winter Olympic medalist funded by Aristotle Christados. John Glenn was an editor and second unit director on several previous Bond films. This was the first Bond script to be written by a regular James Bond writing duo team of Richard Maybaum and Michael G. Wilson. This writing partnership continued until License to Kill. It was also the first James Bond movie directed by John Glenn, whose first Bond movie he worked on was On Her Majesty's Secret Service's second unit director. He directed 4 more movies in the franchise, ending with License to Kill. John Glenn estimated that every foot the film shot during the attempted drowning of Molina and Bond by Christados cost £2,700. The name of the Jamaican Bond girl, Judy Havelock, in the For Your Eyes Only short story was changed to Greek Bond girl Melina Havelock in this movie. The Cuban Major Hector Gonzalez also comes from this short story. The Liesl Baum character from the Risco short story also had a name change to Countess Liesl van Schlaf for this movie. The Aristotle Christados and Colombo Dove character names also come from Mexico, but Enrico Colombo was an Italian in the book. The movie changed him to Milos Colombo, a Greek. A major problem occurred during production, which threatened to stop the filmmakers filming. The monks who lived in the monastery on top of the Meteora mountain uh, placed sheets and plastic on top of the roofs and external infrastructure so as to halt filming. They allegedly did not like the violence associated with James Bond. Reportedly, Sir Roger Moore told them that he had once been a saint, a reference to the saint. A special hearing of the Greek Supreme Court was convened, where a panel of judges decreed that the monks only had rights over the interiors of the mountaintop monastery, but the exteriors were the domain of the people and the local government. The movie crew was eventually able to film at the location, which included a gigantic fall by stuntman Rick Sylvester. They did not film inside the monastery, known as St. Cyril's in this movie, but built a set on top of a neighboring rock for some of the hideout's exteriors. The interiors were filmed back at Pinewood Studios on a set designed by Peter Lamont. Topol suggested to producer Albert R. Broccoli that he invite former co-producer Harry Saltzman to the premiere, and he did, marking the first reunion between the two men since their breakup after The Man with the Golden Gun. Topol was injured on set when he was hit by flying debris during the dockside action sequence. Cameo: Robin Young, the winner of the Be a James Bond Girl competition as the girl in the flower shop. Playboy magazine, which had had a long association with James Bond, ran a competition in their magazine for a reader to become a Bond girl in 1980. The prize was a cameo in this movie and a photo spread in the magazine. Young appeared in the flower shop scene when motorbikes crashed through the florist's front window. Playboy published some of the James Bond short stories by Ian Fleming, including the Hildebrand rarity in 1960, while the James Bond character was seen reading a copy of the magazine on Her Majesty's Secret Service, and Bond has a Playboy Club membership card in Diamonds Are Forever. Regular production designer Ken Adam did not work on this movie because he was working on Pennies from Heaven. A line of dialogue had to be cut from the opening helicopter sequence for legal reasons. The bald man could not be called Blofeld, as Kevin McClory had won a court case several years previous and owned the rights to the use of Spectre and Ernst Stavro Blofeld. Unofficially disposing of Blofeld so early in this movie was Albert R. Broccoli's way of telling McClory that the success of 007 did not depend on him, and he got rid of Blofeld, supposedly, once and for all. McClory produced and released the unofficial Bond movie Never Say Never Again, in which Blofeld was played by Max von Sydow. Blofeld did not appear in the Neon-produced Bond movie again until Spectre, after the rights matter was finally settled in 2013. 23-year-old stuntman Paolo Orgoni died during the filming of the bobsled chase. This was due to a poorly designed track. Orgoni was not the only one to lose his life there, however. During an actual competition, another bobsledder was killed at the exact same spot. The track was later modified for a less severe turn. Director trademark, John Glenn. A pigeon. Bond almost loses his footing during his climb to the monastery when a pigeon from a nest unexpectedly flies in his face. Cassandra Harris, who played Countess Liesel, was at the time of filming married to future Bond actor Pierce Brosnan. Brosnan was offered to part 5 years later, but he was unable to appear as Bond in The Living Daylights due to commitments to his television series Remington Steele. For a while, it was believed that Sir Roger Moore would not be returning to the role of James Bond. A round of screen tests for a new Bond were held. James Brolin, Lambert Wilson, and Timothy Dalton were considered. Miriam Diabo became the Bond girl Cara Malovi in The Living Daylights, played Tatiana Romanova in the screen tests. The close-ups of Cara Bouquet and Sir Roger Moore in the underwater scenes were filmed in slow motion in a studio with a wind fan to produce the effect of floating hair. The bubbles were added in later. Julian Glover, who played Christados, was a candidate to play James Bond in the 60s and was on the short list as a possible replacement for Sir Sean Connery and George Lazenby prior to the role going to Sir Roger Moore. The stunt double for Cassandra Harris was injured when she was hit by the dune buggy in the beach scene. Topol was cast after producer Albert R. Broccoli's wife Dana met him at a party. Other actors considered for the role of Bond: Lewis Collins, he would have been good. David Warbeck, Michael Billington, David Robb, Michael Jaston, Nicholas Clay, and he would have been an interesting choice. Ian Ogilvy, Andy Ian Ogilvy. Ogilvy, like Moore, spent several years playing the Saint on television. Moore in the Saint, Ogilvy in The Return of the Saint, and played a Bond-like character in a television commercial. Okay. The first credited appearance of MI6 Chief of Staff Bill Tanner, played here by James Villiers. The character previously appeared, played by an uncredited Michael Goodliff in The Man with the Golden Gun. The character was resurrected as a regular in the Pierce Brosnan Bond movies, played by Michael Kitchen in GoldenEye and The World Is Not Enough, and in the Daniel Craig Bond movies, played by Rory Kinnear in Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, and Spectre. Okay. Like I said, there's many more. I'll read a couple of more off and then call it. All right. Let's see. It was originally planned for production and release in 1979 as the follow-up to The Spy Who Loved Me. It was announced as such in the closing credits of the earlier movie. However, it was decided to make Moonraker instead, which delayed production of this movie for 2 years. Following the release of Moonraker, some of the newspapers erroneously announced that the next James Bond movie would be called The Seawolves. Roger Moore made a movie called The Seawolves, but it was not a Bond. Begging Bond to spare his life, Blofeld, quote unquote, baffles viewers with the cryptic line, "I'll buy you a delicatessen in stainless steel." Leading to you to ask earlier in the show, Bill, what F? Okay. It is reported that the phrase is attributable to producer Albert R. Broccoli, who recalled accounts of 1930s New York mafia gangsters offering full-service delis as a bribe to cohorts, complete with stainless steel countertops. Okay.
I'm back.
Alrighty. Charles Dance's first screen movie role as the thug Klaus in this movie. He later played James Bond author Ian Fleming in GoldenEye, which was a movie about Ian Fleming, not the GoldenEye. Different movie. All right. This movie saved United Artists from financial ruin. At the time of this movie's release, the studio was still reeling from Michael Cimino's Heaven's Gate, a notorious $40 million bomb that was about to force United Artists to file for bankruptcy. When this movie took in a worldwide gross of $195 million, the studio was saved and afterwards turns its focus towards blockbusters and less on personal movies. The helicopter sequence in the pre-credit sequence, Becton Gas Works, involves the Becton Gas Works, which Stanley Kubrick converted into the Vietnamese city of Hue in 1987 for Full Metal Jacket. After viewing Flash Gordon, the producers at one time wanted to cast not just Topol in this movie, but also Timothy Dalton as Bond and Ornella Muti as Melina, even writing the part specifically. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end it there. Like I said, there's a lot more. You can go and check it out on IMDb Pro. The scrolls are closed.
The scrolls are closed? Okay, wonderful.
They are closed.
Well, I'd like to thank each and every one of you, Daniel's Hot Topics, Connie Clary, friend of the channel, both our channels, FKHC 2005, sometimes known as Tim, Daniel Barry, Sports Highlights, DR Bell Nation, Big Al Presents, Lester the Skeptic, Tank Obsessions, and of course Kronos, and Unsum G.
We also had Action Popcast join us. I want to thank Tim once again for the super chat. All right.
All right.
So, Bill, what do you have coming up?
Stay tuned. We got, of course, with Big Al on Friday night. Friday the 15th, the final chapter with Corey Feldman. That's part 4. The one that comes after the one that was in 3D. And then, of course, we got some, probably some karaoke on Saturday night. And then on Western Cinema, we have Horizon American Saga Part 1.
All right. And of course, join me later on tonight for coming attractions. That link is not yet up, but it will be. I also do want to remind everybody, like Bill said, we will be joining Big Al Presents tomorrow night for Friday the 13th, the final chapter. And let's see. No unscripted this week, but that reserved seats is returning, and Big Al Presents will be joining me there as well. So, as I always say at the end of every show, thank you all very much for joining us from HQ and our second home office in Arizona, and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond. Good night. Take care. Stay strong. Be safe and healthy, because this is how we win.
Don't forget to be excellent to each other. See you on the next one. Later, folks.